Good evening. I'm State Representative Shelley Rudnicki. I represent House District 67 in the Maine House. That is for Benton and Fairfield. I'm coming to you today to talk about the referendum questions. We're on referendum question number 3 for 2023. Referendum question reads, an act to create the Pine Tree Power Company, a nonprofit, customer-owned utility. Do you want to create a new power company governed by an elected board to acquire and operate existing for-profit electricity transmissions and distribution facilities in Maine? So here is my take on that. My first answer is no, I do not want it. Because when has the government ever run anything effectively? So just take a look at the government controlling all of our roads and the money that we spend on the roads. Do you think that well? What about DHHS? Any of those situations? And not only that, just talking about the power companies to begin with. This is over a $13.5 billion investment from the state of Maine. So we would actually, as taxpayers, be on the hook for $13.5 billion. That to me is just we can't sustain it. We can't pay for it. So then you take that on top of it. Then you're talking about politicians running our electric grid. Then you look at it from a perspective where this had been tried to get passed through the legislature. The first 4 years that I was in office, it came before us every year. And every year, both Democrats and Republicans voted against this. Now stop and think about that $13.5 billion. That's if CMP would be willing, and Versant would be willing to sell. My guess is they're not willing to sell, and then it's going to go to court. So there's a lot to this, and people that strictly blame CMP for their high power bills and that type of thing, CMP is a transmitter of your electricity. It's the transporting of your electricity. It is not the actual maker of electricity. The reason your bills are so high right now comes back to the solar things that we have going on right now. The fact that solar has to be bought off the grid first before even hydro, which is why your prices are high. It's subsidies to the solar industry is the problem here. So what I will say is, on question 3, vote no. We do not need the government taking over our power grid. Thank you. Have a nice evening. If you have any questions or concerns, don't hesitate to reach out to me.